Okay, today we're going to talk about the metric system. The metric system was actually discussed in chapter 3, but I skipped it, and this seemed like a good place to put it. So, with the metric system is actually easier to work with because it's in bases of 10. So you either multiply by 10, 100, or 1,000, or divide by 10, 100, or 1,000 or more. Okay, where our customary unit of measures is different. But it's hard because we're not used to dealing with them. We don't normally deal in millimeters, or centimeters, we deal in inches. And so that's why it gets a little confusing because it's harder to imagine. Okay, so what I like to do is this thing called Metric Mania. And with Metric Mania, they've set it up. You don't have to do it this way. This is how I'm going to teach it. Okay, so you have your base unit. So let's say we're talking about liters. Okay, if you're talking about grams, you would put grams here. Or if you're talking about, whatever you're talking about. Obviously, I can't think of it right now. Okay, so how this goes is if you're converting from liters, let's say, to centiliters. Okay, so the way you would do that is you would just move it over. You would multiply by 10 and then 100. Okay, or you would just move your decimal place to the right 2 places. It's the same as multiplying by 100. If you were going from liters to milliliters, okay, you would move your decimal over 3 places, or you would multiply by 10, 100, 1,000. You multiply by 1,000. Okay. Now, if you're going from liters to kiloliters, you would go up here. Again, these are just words we're not used to hearing. That's why it sounds so funny. Then we would divide by 10, 100. We would divide by 1,000. Or we're just going to move our decimal place 3 places to the left. Okay. We can even go from milliliters all the way to kilometers. I'm sorry, liters. Milliliters all the way to kiloliters. Okay. And we would just divide by 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. Thing to remember, to convert to a smaller unit, move decimal points to the right or multiply. It's the same thing if you're moving them to the right or if you're multiplying. However you want to think about it, but it's always in bases of 10. 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, so on and so on. Okay, and then to the left, convert to a larger unit, then you would move to the left. Okay, so small to large. Okay, so this is what this is down here. To convert to a, we're starting with small. To convert to a larger unit, so you're starting with small, going to large, move decimal point, so then you would divide. Okay, to go from large to small, you're gonna multiply. Okay, so let's do some examples. I have this thing written on the next page as well. Okay, so I have it right up here so we can look right at it. Okay, try these conversions using the ladder method. Okay, again, if you don't want to use the ladder method, that's fine. This is just, if you know how to do it a different way, that's fine. So 1,000 milligrams. Okay, so our milligram is right here. And we're going to the gram, so we're going here. So we're going to move it 1, 2, 3 places, or we're dividing by 3. So our decimal is right here. Let's just write it down here. And we're going to move it 1, 2, 3. So 1,000 milligrams equals 1 gram. That's how that works. Okay. So let's start if we're going from liters to milliliters. Okay, so we're starting right here. And we're going 1, 2, 3. So now we're going the other way. We're multiplying. So if we started with 1, remember our decimal point's always at the right. Okay, if it's not in the picture, it's always at the right of the whole number, or of the integer. 1, 2, 3. So we add 3 zeros. That would be 1,000. Okay. It's just the opposite of this one, except for you're dealing with liters and grams. Okay, so 160 centimeters. Okay, so that's right here, and we're going to millimeters. Okay, so we're just going from here to here. So we're just moving it one time to the right. Okay, so it's at 160. So we have our decimal here, we move it one space to the right. So this is going to be 1600 millimeters, which makes sense because centimeters are bigger, so you'd have more millimeters because millimeters are smaller. Okay, so if we have kilometers, which is what this one is, and we're going to meters. So we start with kilometers, we're going to meters, that'd be the basic unit. So we're going to the right 3. So we'd start here 1, 2, 3. So that would be 14,000 meters, which again makes sense because kilometers are smaller. Okay, so then 106, change my color up a little bit, 109 grams. So that means we're starting here and we're going to kilograms. So now we're doing the opposite. We're going up 3. Okay, so or to the left 3. So our decimals here, 1, 2, 3. So it'd be 0.109. Okay, so 109 grams equals 0.109 kilograms. Okay, so 250 meters, that would be here again, to kilometers. So you have to see this is going to be the exact same. You got to see this relationship here. This is the exact same, so this would become 0.250. You move it over 3 places to the left because that's the way you're going on your graph or on your little ladder. Okay. Now this says compare using less than, greater than, or equals to. Okay, so that means you need to make 56 centimeters into meters, or you could do it the other way. It doesn't matter. Just pick one. They're both, there's not really one that's easier than the other. So if we're starting at centimeters, okay, and we're trying to go to meters, we would go to the left 2 or divide by 2 or move our decimal to the left 2. So 0.56 meters. So which is bigger? Obviously 6 meters is bigger than 0.56 meters. Okay. So on this one, if we start with grams, which would be right here, and we're trying to go to milligrams, 1, 2, 3. So 3 to the right. Okay, so that would become 7,000 milligrams. So the 7 grams would be bigger. Okay. Now, the problem here is some people forget the order. Okay, so we have K, H, D, B, that's just for basic unit, D, C, M. So this is our kilometers, hectometers, kilo, hecto, deca, the basic unit, deci, centimilla. Okay, and one way that some people have decided to remember this is King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk, to remember the order. If you can remember the order, then everything else is easy. King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. Okay, so another thing we're going to do with this is you kind of have to decide, you have to choose an appropriate metric unit. So up here, and I think I'm going to hand this out to you guys too, up here is, this is in your book as well. It just gives you an idea, again, since we're not used to it. Okay, so a millimeter is really, really, really small, and that is about the thickness of a dime. A centimeter about the width of a thumbnail. A meter about the distance from a doorknob to the floor, so about half the size of a door, you could think. Kilometer, a little more than 1/2 a mile. So you guys know how long a mile is. A kilometer is about a half. It's a little bit more than a half. Milliliters is about 5 drops of water, so that's not very much. A liter is a little more than a quart of milk. Milligram is about the speck of sawdust, so that's not very much. Gram is about the mass of a paper clip. Okay, so again, not real heavy. And kilogram is about half the mass of your math book, or half the weight of your math book. So if we're trying to come up with appropriate metric units, and sometimes you're going to have to explain, so I can know why you pick these, but you don't necessarily, it depends on the problem. So the height of a classroom chalkboard. Okay, so we know we're going to use length. Okay, well, it wouldn't make sense to use a you can technically use any of these, but what would be the best and the easiest? You're probably going to want to use the I'm sorry, not the the meter. Whoops, I totally said that wrong. You're probably going to want to use the meter, okay, because the meter is about the distance from a doorknob to the floor, so the chalkboard would be more than that probably, but it would make more sense to use the meter. Mass of a backpack filled with books. Okay, so we're using mass or weight. Okay, well, about half the mass of your math book is kilo. Okay, so kilogram is what you would do. You would want to do smaller. Again, you can use any of these, but kilogram would make the most sense. It would be the easiest to use. Okay, the capacity of a bird bath. So a bird bath, would it make more sense to use something that has 5 drops of water or something that's more like a quart of milk? Okay, you're probably going to use a liter on that. So that can kind of give you an idea of what the metric system, what you use it for. Okay, and I think all I have left is a little humor thing. See, I was clothes were too big. You still don't understand the metric system, do you?